Good morning to each of you. It's been a while since our congregation has been updated on our mission work that both Lewis Norman and John Rich oversee. I set the elder that's kind of the area of missions that I also kind of oversee with them, but they've done a commendable, very good job for watching out for the work that we have. And due to COVID, we've not been able to make trips down to Nicaragua. Last time we actually physically was there was in 2018 in November of that year. We'd come about 5 years. We do annual trips down there and talk with all the local men that are our missions points and congregations. And we're going to go in 19. Well, 19, they actually had an uprising. I mean, about 1 million folks out of the 70 million folks in the country were out on the streets protesting the current government. Of course, the government stayed in, and then COVID hit on 20, 21, and 22. Discussions are possibly later this year that we'll make another trip down to see everybody. But I think we've had a lot of new members come to Chisholm Trail in the last 3 years, and we want each of you to know that as a part of the mission effort, your funds and how it's helping the church grow. And of course, this update hopefully will give you a look. One of the congregations is Gloria and Jorge Guillen. I'll get it out here in a minute. That was with Lewis when we made this picture. But net effect is he oversees the congregation. He actually went out and established this Pierre Quamada. And it's halfway between, if you go on a map in Nicaragua, Managua is kind of in the southern part of the country, but even farther kind of southeast of Managua, that is where this congregation is. It's halfway between Messiah and Managua. Jorge and his wife Gloria have been, we share the cost. We do half of salary, and Edgemere Church of Christ in Wichita Falls handles the other half. And one of the members there gave enough that they were able to build this building for them. It's now been probably 8 years ago or 9, and just really a nice facility. But he started with just about, I think it was 4 or 6 couples that were meeting at Messiah, or one of the other congregations that began this new work. And Pierre Quamada stands for burnt rock, because everywhere around it you got, if you wish, volcano ash. Not ash, but the rocks themselves. And so they started it, and it was started in 2010. So really it's been 13 years they've been out there. But now they currently have 32 adults and 50 children. It's kind of out away from the big cities, but yet this community has begun to work, and he's been with us a good while. So I first went to Nicaragua in 2001, and I went on a mission trip that was medical. Some of you made that same trip, or you went and did some construction, and one of those things that I got hooked in a good way. It's one of those things that I went down, I didn't know anything about medical, but I handled the food program. We would buy, big old sacks of beans and rice, and then we would take some of our youth there and we'd sort them down to small packages that we'd do beans to rice and hand out to everybody that came through to see the doctors. But anyway, the Edgemere, as I said, helps support that. There's about 2,000 people with a quarter-mile radius, and we help them establish and some new glasses we bought last year for them. Another congregation that Malene and Christina Alaman, they were at Messiah for probably over 20 years. And with that, then I think they still have 2 of their children that are both grown, or almost grown, and one is still in high school. But just recently he moved from Messiah over to a new congregation in Hinitepe. Hinitepe is kind of straight south of Manawa, and that we'll talk more about Hintertappy in just a few minutes, but the congregation of Belen, which stands for Bethlehem, that was begun with Dr. Eric Garcia and Evelyn Garcia, that's also a physician, started this congregation across town from what we'll be talking about a little bit called Hintertappy. Well, they started, and they now have currently, and he's now preaches at least twice, sometimes 3 times a month there, and Eric still works with that congregation. 35 adults, 14 children, and also the Kenny Hines family helps support the effort for Melly and his wife. Great job, and looks like that this work at Belen was in, he just began in January, so he's not new to the church, but new to that particular congregation. Dr. Eric Garcia, his mother and dad, Louise Garcia and Eliel, that they live with Eric, and he taught for probably over 20 years at Baxter Institute in Honduras. He also is the main preacher there at Hintertappy, which is the main town where Eric and Evelyn and our compound is, we'll talk about in a few minutes. And he also is a Greek scholar. He is taking, and he oversees a Saturday preaching and teacher school that